Welcome back to Weaving the Magic. My name is Kelly. I'm an intuitive astrologer, tarot reader, and wisdom weaver. And this is my series on understanding the basics of astrology so that you can learn your natal chart, how to read it, understand it, and tell the stories that your soul wanted you to hear, speak, share, and love on in this lifetime. Today, this video is the third in the series of explaining the planets or positions in astrology that are found in your natal chart that make up the basis of who you are. The first two videos were on the sun and the moon. This video today is about the rising sign. Together, the three of them make up the big three components of your main personality. The rising sign is not a planet. It is a sign determined based on how the earth actually rotates in the sky and where the sun rises, at what time you were born and where in the world you were born determines your rising sign based on all of those factors. So if you were born at 2 p.m. versus 6 p.m., that rising sign has changed a few times between then. So when you pull your astrology chart, having the exact time of your birth is very important because both your rising sign and your moon they're all determined by the time of your birth, all of the planets and all of the placements, but that rising sign and the moon sign can move so quickly that being off by a couple hours or even a couple minutes could actually change what's showing up in your natal chart as what your rising and your moon signs are. They are what they are, whether your chart is accurately reflecting them or not. So make sure you have your correct birth time when you're inputting a chart so that you are really getting the full and correct picture of who you are. So the rising sign, what is that? I'm going to rope the sun and moon back into this to more fully explain and give a feel for what that actually is, but the word feel is a key component here. So the sun sign is a luminary, illuminating how you see how you are seen. The moon sign is a luminary that can go dark and light. This is the inner workings. These are our inner emotions. This is how we feel about others, ourselves, the world inside of us. The rising sign is how we feel to others. I like to describe this as our soul flavor. This is what people feel about us when we walk into a room. When someone feels our energy or perceives who we are without having a shared conversation, when they look at our face, they're feeling the energy of our rising sign. This is a big, big part of how I read astrology. Everything is filtered through the rising sign. It's like this is who you are in the depths of who you are. Not that all of the other planets and luminaries and points and positions don't play a part, because they absolutely do, and all of the relationships and conversations that are being had between those planets and everything in your chart, including the rising, they all have something to say. They all have a part to play in the play. They all have a story to tell. But the rising sign is this big hug of self. You can learn a lot about yourself just by knowing your rising sign. This is how you feel to other people. The rising sign is really a good segue into the conversation of energetics and of how I view astrology through a lens or a perspective of incarnation, reincarnation. Our souls chose to come to this earth, chose to play as human beings for the purpose of expanding, for the purpose of experiencing everything that could ever be experienced. I'm not going to go too far in depth into all of my knowing and understanding of what consciousness is and how this world is made up. Those will be videos for maybe an entirely different series, but all of my knowing plays into how I read astrology. And the rising sign, I feel, is the general flavor of our oversoul. the part of us that remained in pure consciousness when this part of us came to be human being. It's like the part that's still up there flagging us down, like Mufasa in The Lion King when he's whispering to Simba, remember who you are. That's what I feel about the rising sign. The rising sign is our own personal signifier to remember who we are. Remember what you came from. Remember what you're here to do. Remember what you wanted to bring to this world on an energetic level. What did you come here to be? That's your rising sign. So in the rest of these videos, I've been breaking it down, not into every individual sign because I'll have an entirely different series on that, but into elements. So rising signs in elements. If you have a rising sign in the earth element, when you walk into a room, you bring embodied presence. You bring grounding. You bring tangibility. People can feel your energy and the weight of it, good or bad. Earth sign risings. This is like a whole presence of being here in your body. It's a tangible energy connection. Earth rising signs came here to embody being human. All of the other things in your chart will show you what you came to do with that embodiment, how you wanted to embody, why you wanted to embody, the specific ways in which you hope to execute that embodiment of self. But you really came here to feel what it feels like to be human, to connect in, to ground in. You're either here to ground in energies that you brought with you, or really to bring your healing energy to the earth. It's a deep, deep connection with this earth planet as our mother. Earth rising signs are here to teach a lesson just by their being about what it means to actually connect. Water rising signs. Water rising signs feel like the soft and receptive emotional experience of what it is to be human. Water rising signs can even catalyze others to feel their emotions. Water rising signs remind us that life is not a linear, intellectually lived at a distance thing. We're here to feel our experience in all of our emotions. Water rising signs really let other people know that it's okay to feel your feelings, because water rising signs just express and exude and really just pour their emotions out of them. Again, when I'm saying these things, I am generalizing. As an individual, all of the other things that are in your chart will change, alter, or alter the way that these rising signs feel and express. But I'm generalizing just to explain the concept of what this is, okay? So water rising signs are really here to show emotion, to express emotion, to invite emotion, evoke emotion. If your rising sign is in fire, you are a catalyst. You are an initiator. You light up passion or anger, depending on if you're working in the higher or lower vibration, as all of these signs and elements can do. Your presence when you walk into a room, your energy is noticeable. It's felt. You can be inspiring creativity in others just by you being and expressing as you are. You can be triggering people and that's not a bad thing, to be aware of themselves, to step into their passion, or to realize where they're being burned out. A rising sign in the fire element is a very passionate one. You've got a lot of drive, a lot of ambition, a lot of desire to alchemize, change, do something, say something, take action. Rising fire signs are here to make changes. They're here to create or burn away or breathe new life into something. Rising signs in the element of air. You are bringing new ideas, bringing new expressions, allowing in a clearing out. When you walk into a room, it's like a breath of fresh air. When you walk into a room, people can feel the curiosity rise up within them, the desire to communicate or learn. This rising sign is really like an overall feeling in the sign of air, or in the element of air. It's an overall feeling of like opening up and expanding and allowing in new ideas, new concepts. You may be very intent on learning or teaching or speaking, communicating. Air rising signs can really just clear house, clear the air, bring harmony, or they could blow your fucking house down. All of the elements are all valid. Not one is better than the other. No rising sign is a better soul flavor or expression than any other. And again, between the three, your sun, your moon, and your rising, those three combining together, making up the big picture of who you are, how you perceive, how you express, how you feel inside, how you show your feelings, how you emote them. The rising sign takes those other two, the two luminaries, and says, okay, based on everything that's illuminated within me, this is how I feel. This is how I express. This is who I came here to be in this world, to show up as. And this is the energy that I'm providing through what's illuminated in me. This is the energy that I'm providing to others. This is the way I'm going to move around my world. So knowing what your rising sign is a really good way to understand how people feel and perceive you, much more than the sun sign, I would suggest. That's how people see you, but the rising sign is how people feel you. It's that undercurrent that maybe isn't even understood. Maybe it's not even like consciously there, but it's a subconscious or an energetic level feeling of understanding who you are. So getting to know your rising sign and really feeling into that flavor of your soul is such a beautiful way to get intimate with yourself, really understand what it is that you came here to be and do for this world, because your presence is a gift. You chose to come here for a reason. Your soul chose to incarnate for a reason, and your entire natal chart is a blueprint of what that soul picked out for you. The rising sign just being the tip of the iceberg in how you feel to others. So I hope that made sense and you got some insight from all that little rambling. I appreciate any comments, feedback, questions, whatever you want to throw in the comments. Thank you for viewing. If you're enjoying this series, please subscribe so that you can be alerted, and hit that little notification bell so you can be alerted when I upload new videos. I'm going to keep carrying on here with the planets series, discuss all the rest of the planets and the archetypes that they're providing for us in the chart. I'll eventually move on to the signs and then into the houses, because I really feel like everyone should be able to access the depth of wisdom that can be found in astrology. And I really wanted to just share my layer and my lens and my perspective of how I see all of that in this storytelling woven web of magic way. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you join me again for another video. Take care.